with your main Chip Washington. When it comes to information, the main got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's the local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Chip got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. Hey.
And here we go on this Monday evening in the city. It is the 12th day of February 2023 and for 2024, excuse me. And for those of you who are keeping track, 2 days before Valentine's Day. But we are here on this raw, chilly Monday. It started out about 50 degrees early this morning, cloudy, cool, and then the rain moved in. And now, we have more rain and the temperature has dropped dramatically from about 50 this morning, and it's in the 30s now. It was about 36, 37 when I got out of the car. So it is cold out there. And yes, it is still a bit of rain mixed in with a little sleet. And there's some snow, as a matter of fact, some snowflakes that are falling where we are down here at the Crosstown concourse down here. And so, yeah, it's just Mother Nature, baby. Mother Nature. That's all I can say. But anyway, we are here. We're glad to have you with us this evening for this edition of Real Talk Memphis. Always happy to be back in the air chair after. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you had a good week and a good weekend as we are, starting out in fine fashion. We have a good show for you tonight. We hope that you will stick around. Why be out in this mess? It's messy outside right now. It's messy, it's wet, it's rainy, it's a little snowy and all that kind of stuff. So you should stay home. You should find your wherever it is you find us. And speaking of that, how do you find us? Well, we're live right now on 91.7 WYXR on the FM side. We are also on the WYXR app. You can catch us as well on the TuneIn app. And a little later on this week when the show is posted, we will be on YouTube. And as we're a podcast, once the show is posted, you can catch us wherever you find your favorite podcast. And we hope that you make us one of your favorite podcasts. Okay? Very, very good. So, as I said, we have a good show for you tonight. Some of the guests include County Commissioner Erika Sugarmon is joining us tonight. And there's a lot going on with the County Commission, as there is generally speaking. And she, in particular, I wanted to talk to because she sponsored the bill, the legislation that was passed by the County Commission to create a civilian oversight committee for the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. And if you've been keeping up with things, the Sheriff's Office has had more than their share of some struggles this year, especially as pertains to the jail. So we'll talk to her about that and other County Commission business. A little bit later on, we're going to talk to two young ladies who are absolutely, I would consider, as this is Black History Month, they are Black History trailblazers. They own Afterlife Mortuary Services. I'm speaking of Madeline Lyles and Dana Taylor. Afterlife Mortuary Services is the only full-time or full service is what I was trying to say. Full service mortuary, not only in the city of Memphis, but in the state of Tennessee. These two black women are very enterprising, and I look forward to chatting with them about why this business and how things have been going and how it does feel to be the first in terms of all of this. And a little bit later on, Trey Moore will be joining us. Trey is a young man who is very enterprising, and you ever meet somebody that when you meet them the first time, just by the energy that they exude, you feel like they're going to be a success. Well, Trey, he's in his 20s, and he is a man who is making his own way. He's going to have a big conference in a couple of days that he is hosting on finances, and that should be very interesting. He's going to talk to us a little bit about that because he feels like, the city of Memphis is challenged enough, and a lot of people don't know a lot about finances. He's going to have a big guest list of people in the whole 9 yards. So we'll talk about that as well. We're going to start the show off as we always do, celebrating you. If it's your birthday, if you had a birthday over the weekend, or you have one today, or you have one this week, this is the part of the program where we dedicate it to you. We shout you out, and we let everybody know that in case they didn't know, now they know it's your birthday celebration. But I can't do that without saying, hit it, Brent. Happy birthday. Happy birthday is going out to the following folks. Eddie Gross celebrating a birthday today, as is Devin Lott. Anitha Perkins celebrating her birthday today. A happy birthday to Monique Cherry, to Paula Ratchford celebrating today. Mike Raines is celebrating his birthday today. And last but not least, my son, David Randall, is celebrating his birthday today as well. Man, time has really flown by. But anyway, best wishes to you, David Randall, and to everyone out there celebrating a birthday. We are glad to be a part of it this year, and we hope the Lord keeps us around so we can celebrate your next trip around the sun next year. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. All right, we're having some problems with our Zoom situation. I don't know exactly how we need to move forward here with the show, but we can't see our guest. Maybe it's I don't know what we need to do. Call them, or we got to call out to our leaders out there. So Robbie or JB or Shelby, if any of you are listening to the broadcast, we need help with the Zoom. We need a passcode, if there's a passcode available. So if you guys could help us out, man, we would really appreciate that. But in the meantime, news and notes on this Monday. Of course, yesterday was a city, we were in a city filled with tension. Of course, there was another citywide manhunt that happened yesterday. Started yesterday morning for a man who began the day carjacking a woman in a church parking lot. He left there after threatening to kill her. She didn't give him his car, moving to a package store on East Shelby Drive, where he pulled out a rifle and killed an 18-year-old man there. He then got back in his vehicle and went over to Commerce Circle, where he shot at and struck at least two females. Well, he was arrested yesterday afternoon just before 4 o'clock. Cordarian Kraft is his name. He is all of 20 years of age. And ironically, and this is where this thing becomes real frustrating, he was out on a $100,000 bond after a previous attempted murder charge and various other murder situations. His bond was revoked, and it makes you wonder, right? He was out on bond. Shelby, yeah. He was out on bond. Well, today's bond was revoked, obviously. He's in the Shelby County Jail. So, once again, the frustration with the court system and with everything else that is going on, with the bail and the backlog in the courts and the bond and the whole 9 yards. We are just so frustrated with everything that is going on out here in terms of this. But, of course, this situation, had he been kept in jail, would not have happened on yesterday. Let's see here. Something else happened that was rather troubling in Houston. There was a shooting at the church the Lakewood Church out in Houston, Texas yesterday. Joel Osteen, the one he pastors, one of the largest churches in the city. Joel Osteen was between services yesterday. A woman walked in with a jacket on, concealed with an AR-15 rifle. She walked in the lobby and just started firing. Fortunately, there were 2 off-duty police officers there who subdued the suspect, who was a woman, and neutralized her. She also had a 7-year-old son with her who was caught in the crossfire. He is in the hospital now in critical condition. His mother is dead. We don't know exactly what the reasons are. Of course, the law enforcement folks are investigating this. She did have Palestine written on her rifle. And, of course, the motive for this is unclear. So enough of that. One final thing. I watched the Super Bowl, as I'm sure many of you all did. I was pulling for the 49ers, but the 49ers didn't win. So I have to say congratulations to Kansas City Chiefs for their second Super Bowl victory in a row. Good job, boys. Now I don't want to hear about Kansas City anymore until until next time we have this football situation happening here. I want to ask a question, Lola. Did you happen to? I know you're busy all the time, but did you happen to watch the game yesterday? Did you see the halftime show? Usher, I need you to come to the microphone. You just got off the air, but you can come back to the microphone. So I want to know, because people were asking this question. First of all, what did you think of Usher's halftime show?
I thought it was pretty good. He got all the hits that we love and know.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs there, right?
A lot of songs.
Okay.
He chopped them up a bit, so we were singing a little wrongly, but yeah.
So let me ask you this, because a lot of folks who don't have a lot of things to do and have a lot of time on their hands posted about his appearance with Alicia Keys. And the song that they said, now Lola's giving me this look right now. So I want to know, because I could care less, honestly, but people were wondering if he was in any way inappropriate in terms of, putting his arms around, all that kind of stuff. First of all, before you say anything, I think no. I think it was part of the performance, but you're out there, you the DJ, you all out, and you know music better than I. So what did you take? Were you offended in any way?
No, I don't know anyone who was offended other than being offended by the fact that they hired Alicia Keys.
Well, there was a lot of folks on Facebook that were offended because of how he. Wait a minute. What did you just? Hold on. Wait a minute. That one almost slid right past me. All right, I'm not gonna ask you to explain. You're not a big Alicia Keys fan, are you?
I mean, she started off fantastically, and we really enjoyed her. But
yes.
Yeah, they could have cut her out. I think it would have been fine without her. We didn't have to hear My Boo, or not her verse on My Boo anyway.
Shelby standing here just falling out laughing over that one. Okay, well, Lola. Well, thank you for your unvarnished and honest opinion. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go to our first break, and when we come back, we are going to greet our first guest, County Commissioner Erika Sugarmon. Oh boy, we're off to a roaring start here on this edition of Real Talk Memphis for a Monday evening. I'm Chip. We'll take a quick break and we will be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in to WYXR 91.7 FM. Chris Rowling here, host of Dippin' Your Hip on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. As a listener-supported station, WYXR thrives on your support, not just as listeners, but as active contributors. So, I'm asking you to become a sustaining member today. Head on over to wyxr.org/donate and hit that donate button to keep your favorite WYXR DJs and hosts on the airwaves. Plus, our monthly donors get their own WYXR merch and a ton of other perks. Our way of saying thanks. Visit wyxr.org/donate today, become a monthly donor, and let's help keep the station with the city soul going strong.
Buster's Liquors and Butcher is proud to support WYXR, featuring the 3-Chord Backstage Series whiskey, custom blends created in collaboration with each artist, featuring Lucero, Dinosaur Jr., the Cadillac 3, and more. More information at bustersliquors.com.
Programming on WYXR is brought to you by a grant from Arts Memphis, who has been working behind the scenes for 60 years to grow the foundation of Memphis arts.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you. Very happy to be with you on this Monday evening, and very happy have you all out there with us this night. You know what? When I came in, there was some snow flurries out there. So yeah, I guess the prediction of that is true. I am really happy to have our next guest back. She's been a very busy person. She generally is a very busy person. She is a member of the county commission. And she is County Commissioner Erika Sugarmon. And Erika, it is great to see you, my friend. Happy New Year, even though we're in February. Good to see you. How you doing?
Thank you so much. And I am very busy. I'm in D.C. actually.
Oh, goodness. Wow, you really are busy. Well, listen, thank you even more for coming on the show tonight and talking to us for a few minutes. So the County Commission has been generally a very busy body since this year has started. You all have dealt with a lot of issues in particular, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the things the reason why I wanted to have you on the show is because with all of the issues pertaining to law enforcement, in the city and the county, there's also conversation about regulations that should be followed and maybe more oversight involved in it. You sponsored some legislation that was passed by your fellow commissioners to create a civilian review board for the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. Now, first of all, tell me why you did that and why that was so important.
Well, the idea was prompted by what happened to Tyree Nichols. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to preface by this. Most law enforcement officers are, they're fighting a good fight and they're doing their job. And, there are a few bad apples that get everybody a bad name. And so with the Law Enforcement Review Board, those few apples are basically looked at and they are go through a process. They might need counseling. They may need some type of training. And so I'm not saying that, I just want to put that out there because I have a community, and most Black communities especially, I hear this all the time. They're afraid of the criminals, but they're also afraid
of the law enforcement. Okay, I lost your audio. I don't know what happened. Your audio disappeared on me for a second. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. We lost you. We lost your audio. Okay. Say something.
Okay. And can you hear me?
I got you now. I got you back. Go ahead.
Okay. It's very unstable. Okay. But I'm just saying that we're trying to bring a bridge between law enforcement and the people they're supposed to serve together. And so it's not just law enforcement, jailers as well. And as you probably heard, there have been some cases where individuals were killed while they're in our custody.
Yeah.
Most recently, on January 10th, we had an individual who was covered in all kinds of bug bites. And so they're under our care. And so the jailers or whomever need to be held accountable. And so this is what it does. But having said that, I want to thank my fellow commissioners because it took 9 votes, and 4 times to come up before there was it passed.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you this question in reference to what you just said. There was some opposition to this, but in your estimation, having had extensive discussions with all of your fellow commissioners, why was the ones who did oppose it? What were the reasons as to why they opposed this oversight over the sheriff's office?
It was based on party line. So you know, yeah, that says a lot right there.
Okay, well, that's pretty interesting, and something else you said that was interesting. I mean, we're in a very precarious time in our city. I mean, obviously, crime is still rampaging and a bit out of control here, and there is a very big gap between the confidence of the citizens, at least from my perspective, and law enforcement. And there's a trust issue there as well. I think you alluded to it earlier. I mean, there's a big gap there. There's a big confidence gap. People aren't satisfied with the way law enforcement is handling things, either on the city or the county side. And there is a fear. How do we get past this? I mean, you deal with thousands of constituents that you cover, in your district. But in terms of conversations and things like that, I mean, how do we get past this? How do we start to bridge the gap, so to speak, between law enforcement and the community?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because do you remember we used to have a law enforcement come to the classroom, officer-friendly programs and things like that? But now even the children, my students, I teach at White Station High School, my students are afraid of law enforcement. So we've got to rebuild it. It's going to take the whole community.
Okay, your system froze on me here. She's in DC, ladies and gentlemen, so there's probably some Wi-Fi issues of concern going on there. Erika, can you go ahead? I'm sorry. Go ahead. You froze. Your screen froze for a minute, but go ahead.
Okay.
Keep talking.
So just passing. Clerk is huge. We've never had a clerk before, and so that's a first step. And also, it has subpoena power. And so commissioners, if there's an issue where somebody does not want to appear before the clerk, we have the power to issue a subpoena. And so that's really huge. But having said that, it's going to what the root cause is poverty. And so we've got to address the root
cause, which you said is poverty. And again, her picture froze again. I did want to ask a question in reference to what happened yesterday. I don't know if you can still hear me or not, but what happened yesterday in our city? Once again, shut down. APB out for a man who was in jail, was arrested for a prior charge, a serious charge, by the way, of attempted murder, bonded out, $100,000 bond, to come right back out on the streets and commit the kind of havoc that he committed yesterday. What can we do about this? How can we fix this? Does the county commission have any sway in trying to change the bond system or the backed up courts, or because folks are really, really frustrated? And again, once again, it is not a point to be overstated. People are scared. Yeah. People are scared.
People are scared, and so again, my heart goes out to, everyone. But let me just put, and this is something I don't know if I should say, it may scare people even more, but we do not have a crime lab. Davidson County has 2. They have a state and a local crime lab. And so you have police officers and sheriff's departments and DA having to decide which evidence they're going to take physically.
Yeah. Well, we're having some technical issues. So, ladies, if you're hearing glitches in this or pauses in this, it's because Erika is in Washington D.C. and her system seems to be a bit fussy tonight. But anyway, you were talking about the maps, Erika. You were talking about Davidson County has 2, and go on from there.
Right. And so we don't have a crime lab. So law enforcement, DA, and other agencies have determined what evidence they'll take to Jackson. And so that becomes an issue because they're saying that if it's a homicide or something like that, then yes, they'll take that to Jackson. They physically.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a very interesting scenario in and of itself. But I think maybe what you did to create this oversight committee to help to launch this oversight committee will at least hold people accountable, because this is what it's all about, really. I mean, for me, looking at something like this, it's to hold folks accountable. Am I correct in that?
Yes, but you have to have the evidence.
Okay.
And so if you don't have a crime lab to process the evidence, because they have to determine which evidence is sent to Jackson, because it takes manpower to drive it, and then the TBI may decide, well, this is not a priority for us. That's huge. So it's bigger than what we think. Yeah. And it's scary what we think. Because you can't just throw somebody in jail because of circumstantial things. You have to have evidence.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Well, and so what they're doing is they're not taking the things they need to take because they don't have the resources. And then when you take somebody to court, if they don't have the evidence, they're going to walk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's complicated. It's very
complicated.
Yeah, very complicated.
And so we're pushing for a crime lab.
Yeah.
We have a crime lab.
Do you think there's a possibility of that one day happening here?
Well, I mean, the DA is talking about it. We tried to get the TBI crime lab that was here, but the state said, no, we're going to sell it to somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
it takes resources.
Yeah, it does. Listen, we're glad to have you as an advocate for the people and for the community. And I'm sorry we had some technical issues there during your interview, but I got most of it, and I'm sure our listeners did as well. But thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
I'm sorry. I'm in D.C. and I've got this Wi-Fi thing is not working too well.
No worries whatsoever. You be safe up there in D.C., and we look forward to having you back on the show soon. You take care. We'll talk to you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Erika Sugarmon, County Commissioner, talking about some of the more important issues that we're dealing with here in Memphis and Shelby County. We're very glad to have her with us this evening. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation on this chilly, raw Monday evening in the city. We're going to talk to 2 young African-American women who are absolutely trailblazers in their particular fields. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. A quick break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in to WYXR. Your love for diverse music and community stories keeps us thriving. Want to be an even bigger part of the station with the city's soul? Become a sustaining member today. Monthly donations make a lasting impact. So head over to wyxr.org/donate and join us in celebrating the soul of Memphis together.
Yo, it's Chemist here, host of Computer Noise Radio, and I'm here today to ask you to consider donating to WYXR. When you donate to WYXR, you're no longer merely a listener. You're a vital part of our WYXR community. Becoming a member is incredibly valuable for community radio, allowing us to budget, plan, and increase the ways we serve Memphis. Join us in shaping the future of local radio now at wyxr.org/donate.
Thanks for tuning in to WYXR 91.7 FM. Chris Rolling here, host of Dippin' Your Hip on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. As a listener-supported station, WYXR thrives on your support, not just as listeners, but as active contributors. So, I'm asking you to become a sustaining member today. Head on over to wyxr.org/donate and hit that donate button to keep your favorite WYXR DJs and hosts on the airwaves. Plus, our monthly donors get their own WYXR merch and a ton of other perks. Our way of saying thanks. Visit wyxr.org/donate today, become a monthly donor, and let's help keep the station with the city soul going strong.
Located on the second floor of the Crosstown Concourse, the Memphis Listening Lab is a curated collection of music and music history that is open to the public 6 days a week. Vinyl Happy Hour happens every Friday between 3 and 5 p.m., where guest DJs from around the community will spin some of their favorite records. More information and a complete listing of upcoming events at memphislisteninglab.org.
Hey, I'm Will from Crosstown Brewing Company. We support WYXR 91.7 FM. A favorite beer is just like a favorite song. We feel something new every time we encounter them. Cheers to playing the hits and tasting the notes.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. Very happy to have you with us. I'm Chip Washington, your humble host. And my next guest is someone, or actually there's two of them, and they are, in honor of Black History Month, these two are making Black history. And they're trailblazers in the particular business that they chose to open and be in. I'm really happy to have them with us, Madeline Lyles and Dana Taylor. Now, Dana hadn't joined us yet, but Madeline is here. And Madeline, it's great to see you, and thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us on, and it's great to see you too.
So listen, you two are trailblazers. You are the only Black females, African American females, not only in the city of Memphis, but in the state of Tennessee, who operate a full service mortuary. Am I correct in that?
Well, yeah, we're the first to establish, own, and operate a funeral home in the state of Tennessee, in the city of Memphis. And
that's still. And you've been in business since when?
We just celebrated 5 years on October 8th. So we started October 8th of 2018.
Wow. And what you just said in terms of the business, that still stands today. You are still the only one in the city and or the state of and the state of Tennessee, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's correct. Yep.
That's a pretty big deal, Madeline. Now I'm gonna age myself a little bit. I've known you since you were in junior high school, I think, when I first met you. Yeah. But very enterprising. And I have to ask this because it is a very specialized field. But how did you decide, or at what point did you decide in your life that this was the particular area that you wanted to go into as a business?
Well, I was 13 when I decided it was what I wanted to do. And I kind of just got up for school one day. I was going to Core Middle School. And previously, I had it in mind to kind of be like a veterinarian or a radio personality, but that was just to meet the celebrities that I was in love with at the time. So I got up one day for school. And it's like when my feet hit the floor, my mind just said, I want to be a mortician. And so I knew nothing about funeral services, nothing about mortuary science or anything. And it's like I went on and got ready for school, and I just held on to it from that day on. And so I started to do research and everything about the profession. But I stuck with it. I told my teachers, we actually had a project that we did later that school year, and I did one about being an embalmer. And I like created fake embalming fluid with alcohol bottles and like markers and food coloring and stuff to give it, you know, the colors of embalming fluid. And so my teachers and everybody was just kind of like, what? Like, wait a minute, what? So it's just really, it was neat to go back and visit, you know, years later. And even now, just running into some of my old teachers and stuff at funerals, and they see me actually doing what I said I was going to do at the age of 13. It's like, oh my God, you really did it. So,
well, that's a great backstory as to how all of this started. Now, obviously, there are a lot of funeral homes and, you know, mortuaries, you know, not only in the city but throughout the state.
The world.
I would imagine that you know, there's always competition for business. But how does one, or how do you all establish yourself as a business, you know, providing a service, you know, that all of us need at one particular point in time or another? How do you establish a trust in terms of the relationship? Because, I mean, this is from beginning to end a relationship that you're forming with these family members. How do you do that? How do you go about doing that?
Well, we are just honest, and it's really funny that you and Ms. Sugarmon were using the term bridging the gap, or bridging the gap between the community, you know, and the police department or whatever. But we are establish ourselves to bridge the gap between families and funeral homes, to reestablish the trust between the two parties, you know, because when death does arise, families have to depend on and trust that funeral home that they call to, you know, properly handle them and properly take those services out for them the way they desire it to be done. And so Dana and I both have been working here in the city of Memphis over 16 years now as embalmers. And so we were established in our profession and well known, you know, from just our embalming at different funeral homes. And so when it came to the community, we caught everybody's attention with the Black history that we brought forth, you know, and not even realizing that that's what it was. But we ended up on the front page of the Commercial Appeal and some other publications here in the city. And then, you know, we got like a lot of interviews with news stations and radio stations because of the Black history, with us being the first African-American women to establish a funeral home here. It was a pretty big deal for everyone. And so a lot of our clients initially came from families who said, wow, you know, here's two young black women. And it was so funny because they didn't really know our funeral home name at first. You know, everybody's so used to the larger names, and the names have been around for decades. And so afterlife mortuary services was new. And so people would call the hospitals when their family members would die who wanted us to take care of those services, and they would say, the two little black girls. It's two little black girls. So we would get calls from like hospitals in the morgue, and they're like, hey, the family asking for the two little black girls with the funeral home.
Well, you know,
but it was just really cool to see that the story that we have, you know, impacted the community to where they wanted to trust us and give us a chance to provide them with those services.
You've been doing this since I think you said earlier, since 2018. What made you decide? And I didn't know the back behind that you had been embalmers in this city for quite a few years beforehand. At what particular point did you decide, you know what, we need to take this a bit further and start our own business in this? What made you decide to do that?
Well, so I was working as a trade embalmer for 12 different funeral homes between Tennessee and Arkansas. So Dana and I both are licensed. We're licensed in Mississippi and Tennessee and Arkansas as well. And so I was working just as a trade embalmer, which is a person who goes from funeral home to funeral home and, you know, take care of their decedents. So I was doing all the embalming, the hair and makeup, dressing, casking and decedents and everything. And so it was running me crazy. This was me as an individual at the time. So this was like around 2014, 15. And so I decided to get a location, which is the place where we are now, to have as like my home my home base, and I wanted a place that was centralized to everyone so that they could just bring the decedents to me, or I can make the removals, which is picking the decedents up and bring them to my establishment, do the embalming. I could store them until they need them, and then do the hair, makeup, casket, and take them wherever they desired for them to go. And so that didn't pan out. And so around the end of 2016, the way I'm sitting here talking to you, God told me to go get Dana. I mean, like clear as day. He said, go get Dana. And so I reached out to her, and we went over the business plan and everything. And so we were just kind of talking and just decided, hey, since we're doing this much, of involved service for the family, let's just go ahead and open up a complete funeral home and give them the complete service, because we've witnessed over these years that we work for others, how families have been taken advantage of, how they've been mistreated. We see and hear a lot of things when you're working in the back of the house. And so we just wanted to, again, reestablish the trust and bridge that gap between families and funeral homes. So we decided to open up a full service business and provide complete funeral services.
For people who don't really know or understand what you mean when you say full business, full service.
Full service.
How would you describe that full service in terms of what you do?
Full funeral services is the complete service as a whole. Like that's your removal, which is picking the decedent up from their place of death or wherever they're located. You're going to make the funeral arrangement, so you're meeting with the family. You're scheduling the services, whether it be funeral services or cremation or memorial services or, services with cremation to follow. You're in communication with the cemetery for the family as well. And you're also, of course, caring for that decedent. And you're going to also perform the funeral service. So it's just seeing the family through their whole process of bereavement and celebration of life from beginning to end.
From beginning to end, yeah. Well, I got to tell you, what you do, I mean, obviously is a valuable service in so many ways to people. And really, have you had time to think about the fact that you and Dana both are trailblazers? I mean, there was no one before you, but I'm sure you hope that there'll be plenty after you. I see Dana just popped in. I don't know if she can hear me. Dana, can you hear me okay?
I can. I can hear you very good.
Wow. Well, I got to end this interview, unfortunately, but I'm glad that because of time. But I'm glad that you were here, and we're all very proud of the accomplishments of both of you. Madeline was walking us through kind of the beginning and how long you've known each other and the services that you provide today. And I said beforehand that you're both trailblazers in this, and there was no one before you. But I'm sure that you're hoping that there'll be folks after you, Dana. I'll let you address that one. And how important is it to set the example and set the bar for other women of color to want to be a part of what you guys are doing?
It's very important. A lot of people refer to our industry as a male-dominated industry. Yeah. And so we are definitely glad to be trailblazers in that aspect also, bringing more women and bringing more interest to the field and basically giving women the confidence that they need to go ahead and pursue the dreams and career aspirations that they have, because we do meet a lot of women that say that they were talked out of going into the funeral industry. So it's very important for us to continue on the path that we're on, just to be that example for other African-American women.
Well, listen, I am really proud of what you all have done and have accomplished. I've known Madeline, as I told her earlier, and I think you know as well. I've known her since she was, like in school, like in middle school.
Running the streets.
Yeah, running the streets, baby, on South Memphis, no doubt. But listen, you all are really fine examples of what a person can do with hard work and dedication and diligence, and I wish you
God,
and God, absolutely that, and nothing. I wish you both nothing but the greatest success. And I'm sure that before your story is final, you will have encouraged and have a lot of folks looking at you as some fine examples of two women to follow in a very difficult business. And I congratulate you both. And I thank you both for taking the time. Dana, I'm glad you made it. Doggone it, I'm glad you finally snuck in on the backside. But listen,
Dana got the phone line, so she was probably on the desktop. For the family.
There you go. Yeah, we'll claim that. But listen, but thank you, Madeline, Lyles, and Dana Taylor. Thank you all for coming on the show. I really appreciate you, and congratulations and all the best down the road. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
for having us.
You too. You guys take care. That was great, ladies and gentlemen. I love that conversation. Dana and Madeline doing it out there. The only African American women with full service, the mortuary services and all of this afterlife mortuary services. Not only here in the city of Memphis, but in the state of Tennessee, and that's been going on now since 2018. So congratulations to them. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to a young man who I'm very fond of. He is an entrepreneur, but more importantly, he has a heart to help other people, and he's going to do that with a big event he is going to be hosting in a couple of days. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Quick break. Right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WYXR 91.7 FM, a nonprofit, free-form community radio station. Become a WYXR Sustaining member today, and your monthly support will help keep the music alive in Memphis. Plus, you'll be lined up to receive perks such as early access to events, members-only newsletters, and for this month only, a special tea designed by Carrie Mahoney, host of Ring the Alarm. Become a Sustaining member today at wyxr.org/donate.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. Yeah, some snowflakes out there. If you are interested in looking out your door or looking out wherever you are, you might be able to see one or two of them out there. But glad you're with us this evening, and glad that my next guest, who I can see and hear, is with us this evening. He's a young man. I met him some years ago, and there's some folks that you can look at and you can talk to, and you can get a feel for. This he was a go-getter from the first time I met him. I said, you know what? He's going to be a very successful young man, and he's doing some big things in our city. And I'm really happy to have him on the show tonight because he's going to host a big entrepreneurial financial event in a couple of days. He's going to talk to us about Trey Moore. And Trey, it's great to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm blessed. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Man, it's good to see you again, and I'm blessed as well, and I know you are, and really happy for you and the success that you've amassed at such a young age. What are you, all of 26 now? I mean, I know you're still in your 20s, right?
Not even 26 yet. Yes, sir.
Not even 26 yet. Well, that's a doggone shame, because I'm about 107, and I'm still trying to find my way. But in all seriousness, Trey, you have really taken on a cause, I would say, because I know how much you care about this city, and I know how much you care about our people, and I really you're hosting a big financial empowerment event day after tomorrow, I believe it is. But before we talk about that, Why did you decide that this was something that was important enough for you to do? Because you have a great lineup of guests and speakers and everything else. But why to you? And when did it come to you that this was something that you needed to do?
So about actually a couple of years ago, I was a part of a mentorship group called Recession Proof, where the emphasis and the basis of everything was financial literacy. And I looked at the statistics, and even now, if I'm not mistaken, the poverty rate in Memphis is about 23%. And that's a problem to me. And it's not that we don't have money here or that there aren't resources. I think it's more so that a lot of our people don't know where to find them. Mm-hmm. So me, I feel like I have a pretty strong network and, an extensive, group of resources that I could bring together. I felt that this was a solution to a problem, and not even just a solution like it'll happen overnight, but it could be the start of something major and the start of something grand in Memphis. So I wanted to, bring my resources together and just get back to the city and empower and educate individuals on financial literacy, estate planning, life insurance, credit, business, entrepreneurship, all of the above.
Have you found, though, I mean, in terms of your research and looking into this, and you did mention something that a lot of us mentioned, the poverty rate is a pretty big deal here in our city, and it affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and some even in adverse ways. But to be able to, do you find that though there really is a need for people who to understand more about finances and being more financially literate in terms of how you plan your life, not only as a single individual, but for families as well? Talk a little bit about that.
I think that it's very important. When you look back and you think about people who have families, and a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So even if you take a certain percentage of your paycheck and invest it into a stock or a bond or a mutual fund or something like that will grow over time, or even a life insurance policy. I have a couple of them myself, and I have the cash value IUL policy. So the money that I'm investing every month is growing over time. And at a certain age, I'll be able to cash out on it and invest in something else. So I think that those are the areas and focuses that, our people in our community need to focus on. Even estate planning, we all have to die someday. And it's something that I don't like talking about, but that's the reality. And sure. I think that there has to be something in place, a will or a trust or something that we can pass down assets to. And when you think about credit, a lot of people aren't educated on credit and how to go about obtaining funding, what a fundable credit report looks like. So I just wanted to bring my resources together and, like I say, once again, educate, the city on how they can go about, obtaining a better financial future for themselves.
Before we talk about the event itself and some of the people that you're going to have featured there, you mentioned something that was a trigger for me in terms of you and your age, and you talked about the planning of young people. A lot of folks in their 20s don't think about life insurance or, starting to put stuff, money away a little bit here, to try to plan for a nest egg for the future. How important is it? And is it a point that you try to emphasize for young folks in their 20s to start looking at things like this in terms of, the future life that they want to live?
Absolutely, because like I say, I'm not even 26 yet. So for me to be able to put those things into play and to apply even life insurance policies or mutual funds to my life, they're setting generations up for success down the line. So it's not even about me, so I try to emphasize to younger adults that, look, you're not just playing this game for today or tomorrow. You have a family soon. You have children and you have grandchildren. So, as a responsible adult, it should be your duty to set your generations up for success in the future. So that's one of the things that, like I said, I take pride in. I try to educate and put an emphasis on as much as I can to my peers and, even individuals older than myself, because that's very important. You don't want to, you want to leave your generations better than they were when you got here. My parents, they tell me all the time, they worked hard to do everything they could to give myself and my sisters a better life. So I just want to pass that down to my children and grandchildren when I have some, and put that same emphasis and education on the community.
This is a young man talking, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope somebody's paying attention out there. Let me ask you this: on to the event. Now, the event it's on Wednesday. Give us all the information. What it's entitled, and some of the individuals that you're going to have involved in this conference you're hosting.
Okay, so we're having a 901 Financial Freedom Conference. It'll actually be Saturday.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking. Okay, but it's coming up. It's this weekend. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday, February 17th from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Renaissance Convention Center. Or, like I said, we will be focusing on educating individuals on the importance of financial literacy. The topics, like I said, life insurance, estate planning, retirement planning, credit, business entrepreneurship, saving, investing, and much more. And we'll have Charles Sams Jr., the CEO of Sams Group, LJ McFerrin, he's a credit consultant out of Houston, Texas. We'll have Chastity Monroe, she's the owner of Pink Noir Beauty Supply Store on Avalon. We'll also have a panel of, some esteemed and renowned professionals by the name of J.W. Gibson, Michael Hooks, Alexis Dobbins, Jeremy Hemphill. I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. We have an extensive list, so I'm trying to make sure. Rossi, Dobbins, Turner, and who else is on the panel? I feel like I'm missing someone.
That's all right.
Like I'm missing someone.
That's all right.
That may be it.
You've listed some heavyweights, and some of the names that you mentioned are folks who a lot of people know in this city. So this is not some fly by night conference. Is there a fee associated with this, Trey? Or how do we go about getting more information about somebody who wants to attend?
So there is a fee. There is a fee at the Eventbrite link. I think it's eventbrite.com/901 Financial Freedom Conference, but the general admission is $57. But what I'm doing for anyone who goes to the Eventbrite right now and get a general admission ticket and type in CMD 901, that will waive your general admissions fee. So that's basically a free ticket for anyone who's listening right now. If you would like to attend a conference, you can find the Eventbrite or even go to Eventbrite and type in 901 Financial Freedom Conference. And when you press purchase ticket, at checkout, you will just type in CMD, C as in cat, M as in my, D as in dog, 901, and it will waive the fee. So, that's my way of giving back as well for anyone who's on here right now. And this special will go on until midnight. So, if anyone catches the replay or needs to find someone to go with you, just type that code in and check out, and that'll waive your fee. And I tell people all the time too, going back to what I said about may have to find someone to go with you. Everyone that you pitch this idea to, they may not want to go, but it's not their future in your hands. It's your future. So, I advise everyone to take advantage of it. This is going to be a, action-packed, information-filled conference. We'll also have some amazing entrepreneurs there, setting up vendors booths. We have about 15 of them from cosmetic companies, beauty companies, clothing brands, financial service firms, and many more, just coming out to market, scale, and grow their businesses. So, I love to see the entire city there. Like I said, you can go to the Eventbrite right now and type in CMD 901 and check out, and that'll pretty much give you a free ticket to the conference. But this special is only till midnight, so if you don't get it now, that the fee will be what it is.
Listen, Trey, I am so glad you came on the show. I'm so proud of you, man. You are just, this is a guy 25 years old, and he's already planning ahead. He's looking ahead, and more importantly, he wants you to plan ahead and look ahead as well. Trey, great to see you, my friend. Best of luck.
Likewise.
On Saturday, and I know the future is very, very bright for you, young man. So keep God first, and tell your family I said hello, and I'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. Listen, Trey Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's a great way to end the show. As Bryn plays us out, listen, I appreciate you being here. We had a couple of little technical things at the beginning of the show, but God is in control. And he made everything happen the way it was supposed to happen tonight. We appreciate you being here, and we hope that you got something out of this. And if you did, and if you like what we're doing, go out and tell somebody. We really appreciate you, as always. So for Lola, who hosts a great show before me. You should listen to her 5 to 6 p.m. Each and every Monday evening. For Nicole and for Brent, I'm Chip. And for all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, we're out. Have a great week. Be safe. We'll talk soon.
It's real talk.